Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back on another video from 6, and today we are checking out when Naruto surpassed all of his masters. And if this is in the original series, then he never surpassed Kakashi because Kakashi was the strongest in the end of the series. Definitely. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm trying to be funny. This will be good. I liked the when Sasuke became the strongest video. That was a good one. I like Six's approach of all these things, and I hoping this is going to be like, right, this is the moment when he was stronger than Jiraiya. This is the moment when he was stronger than Kakashi and all that stuff. Like, even though, like I said, Kakashi was the strongest at the end of the series until he lost both his eyes. So you could say that as soon as Kakashi lost his Sharingans, well, it wasn't able to do all that. But anyway, let's check this out.
Naruto wasn't blessed with tons of talent when he was born, and due to falling behind, he'd obviously need mentors to help him grow and get stronger.
Definitely.
Someone like Sakura or Sasuke have only had a few mentors. Sakura had Iruka, Kakashi, and Tsunade. Sasuke had Iruka, Kakashi, and Orochimaru, but Naruto had Iruka, Kakashi, Asuma, Jiraiya, Killer Bee, Yamato, the Toad Sages, and even his own dead mom.
Oh yeah, that's very true. Yeah, alright, cool.
To learn from and help him grow. You could kinda even throw Hagoromo in there, but that's not too similar to the other ones I mentioned. Obviously, by the end of the series at chapter 700, Naruto had surpassed all of his teachers and become the strongest ninja to ever exist.
So then, that's when.
But when did he actually surpass each one of his mentors in the story?
Cool.
You'll see as I go through the video that these moments are usually accompanied by a big payoff chapter in the story and usually symbolize Naruto having to move on to the next part of his journey. Some of these people, like Kakashi and Killer Bee, get stronger as the series goes on and never die, so there may be multiple points where they are surpassed. I'd like to ask if you could leave a like on this video as well before we get started, and subscribe to the channel. The Iruka conversation can be pretty interesting. That is, at least if you're edgy enough. And luckily for everyone here, I'm a power scaler.
Yeah, he is edgelord.
So I'm exactly the type of guy to take the conversation like this and stretch it to its utmost for power scaling potential.
Let's go.
After Naruto returns to the village following the 3-year time skip between parts 1 and 2, Iruka and Naruto have a conversation at Ichiraku Ramen where they talk about Naruto's training, in which Naruto says Jiraiya does not hold back on him. This should mean Naruto is as strong as base Jiraiya. Then at the bottom of the page he tells Iruka that he may be stronger than him, implying he has some level of doubt and uncertainty. So Iruka is stronger than Naruto, who is equal to Jiraiya. Now, obviously that's not true. If you'd like to debunk to that obviously wrong argument, just because Jiraiya doesn't hold back on Naruto doesn't mean Naruto can keep up with him when he's doing it, and it's questionable what Naruto really knows about Jiraiya's full power anyway, considering that at this time he didn't know Jiraiya has Sage Mode either. The best you get from this statement is that Naruto can recover from base Sannin level attacks, and since Naruto already has advanced healing, it's not saying too much that he's able to do that.
Yeah. Like, Jiraiya just, like, beats him up. It doesn't mean he can go toe-to-toe.
However, the statement at the tail end of the scan where he is saying he may have surpassed Iruka is actually pretty good because it tells us base Naruto might be around the level of a Chunin, which isn't too far-fetched. I mean, all of his peers are Chunin or higher, so it's fine for Naruto to be at that level. I also don't think it's fair to say Naruto was sweet talking or being humble to Iruka, not only because Naruto isn't the type of person to do that, but I think chapter 321 further pushes this point that Naruto doesn't really do this because he's fangirling over Kakashi's sweet talking Yamato and getting him to pay for the lunch bill. Regardless, it at least establishes that Naruto is on his way to surpassing Iruka. I suppose I should also mention that I'm not going to be taking Nine Tails forms into account, since Naruto barely hangs on to his sanity in those forms.
Yeah, it's not really him as such, is it? Like, he's losing himself when that's happening.
And they are something he clearly cannot control yet. A small amount of Nine Tails chakra or his eyes having slits is different, but actual Nine Tails modes Naruto can't control yet, so they aren't to be counted. I know we're technically not completed with the Iruka section yet, But there are 3 other of Naruto's mentors that all fall into around the same category here, and I'd just be repeating myself over and over if I didn't just incorporate them all into one part.
Okay.
Asuma, Kakashi, Iruka, and Yamato all get surpassed when Naruto learns the Rasen Shuriken. That's because, self-admittedly, Kakashi thinks Naruto surpassed him for using a jutsu of this caliber, and Kakashi is stated like 90 times to be the strongest Jonin in the Leaf Village.
Yeah, like it's a technique that none of them were able to like perfect or like further, and Naruto does it.
Meaning that he eclipses Iruka, who is a Chunin, Yamato, who is a Jonin, and Asuma, who was once a Jonin, since he's, dead at this point. Yamato also considers it flattering enough to be equal to Kakashi that the literal just mentioning of it caused him to pay for Naruto, Kakashi, and his own meal, like I mentioned earlier. This isn't meant to say Naruto could just straight up beat all of these people, because Yamato can quite literally suppress the Nine Tails chakra, and that's exactly what he uses when he's up against Kakuzu, which, as everyone knows, was the display of power that caused Kakashi to say Naruto had finally surpassed him. But after this, Naruto can't use the Rasen Shuriken anymore, and Kakashi...
Yeah, it's like, hey, you've got this really powerful technique that you just don't use. It's too powerful.
She starts to say
it's gonna hurt you.
That Naruto might surpass him one day. So it really was just that jutsu that pushed him over the edge and past all these people. So what's next for Naruto? He gained a new jutsu and a new status, then lost it almost immediately.
Straight away, yeah, damn.
And he hasn't actually surpassed Kakashi, Asuma, Yamato, or Iruka yet. At least not with any evidence we can show at this point in the story. But from chapter 342 to around 60 chapters later, on chapter 410, Naruto doesn't really do anything. He's just sort of stuck in a limbo, and then he starts learning Sage Mode at the later point I mentioned. Now, I know everyone probably expected me to touch on Sage Naruto versus Pain yet, and surely he passed Iruka, Kakashi, Asuma, and Yamato there.
Yeah.
But no, we don't actually need to go that far in. In chapter 418, Naruto enters his completed Sage Mode for the first time and gains his enhanced durability, strength, and all the other crazy things the Sage Mode comes with. In this same chapter, he gets his jutsu back, the Rasen Shuriken. This is subtle, but if you read Naruto for long enough, you should be able to pick up on this. Naruto is training at night, and we see him say that even though it's far from perfect, he must try it in Sage Mode and make sure that no one catches him. Keep in mind, at this time, the Rasen Shuriken is considered an S rank forbidden jutsu.
Yeah.
So using it is, well, forbidden.
Yeah, you're not allowed.
But he can't be seen doing that. And then in chapter 432, we see that when Naruto uses his Rasen Shuriken, Ma and Pa both say that they have never seen this jutsu before, and they are both caught off guard even more so when Naruto not only has it, but can throw it as well. Data Book 4 also tells us that Naruto can use the Rasen Shuriken again thanks to his height and toughness that is granted to him in Sage Mode. So I think it's fair to say that Naruto surpassed Kakashi, Iruka, Asuma, and Yamato the moment he obtained completed Sage Mode.
Yeah, okay.
That's
cool.
pretty cool and all, but Naruto still has more mentors like Killer Bee, Jiraiya, and the Toad Sages to surpass. We're going to get to Jiraiya and the Toad Sages all wrapped up into one big bundle here, because Jiraiya just outright admits inferiority to the Toad Sages. So if Naruto can keep up with or surpass them, then obviously he have surpassed Jiraiya. It's worth bringing to everyone's attention that the entire point of Naruto training at Mount Miyaboku was to surpass Jiraiya, and not only that, but to surpass him and defeat someone that he could not defeat.
That he beat. I understand that. Like the idea is, he needs to train to do what Jiraiya wasn't able to do.
Sage Naruto versus Sage Jiraiya is still heavily contentious for some reason. So as far as when Naruto surpassed Jiraiya, I'll bring up the 2 points where it could have happened. I'll obviously share my opinion on which of these I think is right, but this is just to make sure no one gets on my case about simply presenting information. Anyway, like I mentioned earlier, training at Mount Miyaboku was for the purpose of surpassing Jiraiya. And alongside him gaining Sage Mode, there is another statement saying this might mean Naruto has become a sage exceeding Jiraiya. I don't think it's fair to say based on this statement that Pa is saying Naruto is stronger than Jiraiya. It might be close, but all Pa says here is that it simply might be the case.
Could be.
I also think it's fair to say that he's clearly talking about power when he mentions this, and not just Sage Mode, since Naruto is clearly in completed Sage Mode. Pa comments on as much and how he already has no frog-like features, so it's fair to say that the statement about him maybe surpassing Jiraiya is in reference to his power. Not too important for this statement, but I'm pointing out this distinction for a statement that will come later on. But for now, let's go a little bit further into Naruto's training. In chapter 420, we see Naruto boxing with Pa, and Pa is impressed with his abilities while Naruto is just warming up. But I don't think I need to explain that this is just a training session, so we aren't going to take it too seriously. We just know Naruto can keep up with Pa in hand-to-hand combat while training. When he gets to the battlefield though, this is when the real fun stuff starts. So Tsunade is looking up at Naruto and sees Minato and Jiraiya in his visage. And one of the toads asks Pa if he reminds him of those two, and Pa says that Naruto had surpassed his predecessors. There is debate over whether this means he's talking about Sage Mode or power, because Minato is right there and people don't believe that Sage Naruto is stronger than Minato, but like, why?
Yeah, that's a bit weird. Like, what? Yeah, why?
I don't think I have to prove I'm a big fan of Minato, but as outlined in my Minato vs. Tobirama video, Minato doesn't have many power feats, and the only statements he has for his strength is comparing him to a slightly QB up Naruto's Rasen Shuriken. So what's the issue with Naruto just hitting harder than Minato in Sage Mode? I don't see any issue at all. Minato has potent sealing jutsu, flying Raijin, and a ton of other ninjutsu at his disposal, so it's not like he necessarily needs to hit hard to beat people, because he just has so much other stuff at his disposal and in his arsenal. Outside of that, I think it's perfectly fine that Pa is saying Naruto surpassed Minato and Jiraiya in power. I mean, Naruto just performed a power feat. He one-shot the Asura Path of Pain.
That was incredible. Like,
and Pa already took note earlier that Naruto has surpassed Jiraiya as a sage by acknowledging his successful Sage Mode.
Yeah, because Ma and Pa had to actually sit on Jiraiya to help him out, and he still had frog-like features. Anyway, Naruto just doesn't transform into any type of frog, and Ma and Pa don't have to, like, help him, like, focus.
And how he had no frog-like features. It's also not like these interpretations of the scan are mutually exclusive either. Naruto can be better at Sage Mode as well as stronger than Minato and Jiraiya. Minato can barely hang on to Sage Mode and he has trouble putting the chakra into Jutsu, and Jiraiya can't enter the mode on his own at all. So Naruto clearly surpassed him in that aspect, and I gave the context for the reference to power earlier, but yeah, let's move on a bit. Now, if you don't think Naruto surpassed Jiraiya here, then he definitely did so in the following arc, the war arc, obviously. I also want to say for Minato, the guy is getting a brand new manga soon, so we may get power feats for him in there.
I can't wait.
But obviously, you can't blame me for that, considering, you know, I haven't read it. It's not available yet.
I can't wait. I think Minato is such an interesting person to have, like, a one-shot like story based off of. We're gonna see so much cool potential stuff, man. Anyway,
so I'm just going off of what I have right now. I think it's more than fair to say that Naruto has surpassed Jiraiya whenever it comes to the war arc and obtaining KCM. Because after he obtains KCM, we know that he outspeeds the Raikage, and he's constantly compared to Minato, at least when he's at full power KCM. And Minato should be faster than Jiraiya just through being stronger than Hiruzen and whatnot. So I think it's very clear that at least by the time Naruto obtains KCM, he's stronger than Jiraiya. You also have to take into account, KCM Naruto can throw Rasen Shurikens from his fingertips, he can make tons of KCM clones. He's also got the 8 of the 9 tails, which just amps his healing up. So he is a force to be reckoned with. And it's definitely not downplay to say that Jiraiya scales around that level. I also would say that maybe Naruto has surpassed the Sage Toads at this point as well, because he was already sort of competing with them in just his Sage Mode, and when he went 6 Tails mode, he definitely eclipsed the Toads over. So I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that at this point Naruto had also surpassed the Toads. It's also worth noting that Naruto doesn't think he can close the distance between himself and the 10 Tails in one jump, So he summons one of the frogs to do that, that being Gamakichi. But it is also worth noting that Gamakichi only does this. He doesn't do anything else super special. And not only does this stuff not really apply to scaling, just more so how high Naruto can jump. But I don't think that a giant frog jumping higher than Naruto would mean that that frog is then stronger than Naruto. And I'm sure you can see my skepticism.
Definitely, yeah.
Naruto also has, his giant Rasen shurikens and whatnot that I mentioned earlier. So it's pretty fair to say that I think he surpassed the Sage Toads at this point. And then obviously after that there's KCM2, so he should have surpassed him there with the full cooperation of the Nine Tails and his gaining of the Biju Bomb and whatnot. But moving on to Killer B, Naruto and Killer B actually have a pretty good power dynamic. They're a pretty good duo in the war arc. I say that because they're extremely comparable in the areas that they fight in. B fights in base, Naruto fights in KCM, and they're comparable enough to make that dynamic work, even when they're fighting against 6th Gen Cherokee at the same time. And then whenever B goes into V2 mode, he sort of eclipses Naruto, but he never really uses that mode that often. He normally stays in base and then uses partial transformations in order to be useful in the battle. Then you have whenever B uses his full 8 Tails transformation mode, he completely surpasses KCM1 Naruto, meaning that it takes KCM2 Naruto in order to surpass B's full 8 Tails transformation, because obviously full 9 Tails transformation is stronger than full 8 Tails transformation. We just get shown that over and over again. So whenever Naruto enters KCM2 is when he finally surpasses B. But before that, they're just a little bit more comparable, and they can kind of go back and forth with B having the upper hand because of his full 8 Tails transformation. Whenever they are countering Nagato's Chibaku Tensei, we do see B's Biju Bomb match Naruto's Rasen Shuriken when he's in full 8 Tails transformation, but that was likely just the quickest Biju Bomb B could fire off and not have time to actually gather the chakra for it, because we see whenever he's with Kurama, whenever they gather the chakra for their Biju Bomb, they get massive. So I don't think it's fair to say this is B at his full power, and it might not be Naruto at his full power either. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. That's more than likely when Naruto actually surpassed B, whenever he got KCM2. And I think that's fair. That's more or less what they were training for. They were training so that Naruto couldn't master all of his 9 Tails power, blah, blah, blah. So I think that that's fair to say that's when Naruto actually surpassed Killer B. But that's when Naruto surpassed all of his mentors. The video idea was actually recommended to me by Noodles. I'll leave his channel tagged in the description somewhere. You can go check him out. He hasn't uploaded in a while, surprisingly. I found that out yesterday, but yeah, it's down there if you want to go check it out. Obviously, I could have gone a little bit more in depth on some of these things, but there are some things that I want to make videos on, but this is sort of like a nice middle ground where I can kind of touch on it, but not completely in depth. I did a video on Sage Naruto versus all the Sannin with swag before. The video got kind of negative reception, but I want to reaffirm my stance and maybe convince some more people. So I'm going to do a Sage Naruto versus Sage Jiraiya video in the future. It's going to be way more in depth and fleshed out, so that I can firmly get my position out there and, grounded, because I think when we were spitballing on the collab, it didn't really come out all that well. Obviously, if you like the video, please leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel as well. I greatly appreciate it. But other than that, have a nice day.
Sweet. Yeah, cool video. Obviously, I was talking about Kakashi be the strongest at the end, but the end is the moments when Naruto actually surpassed everyone, and that was a really good take. Yeah, Sage Naruto definitely was better than Jiraiya because he just had the form down by himself, didn't need any help. And then that Rasen Shuriken, that deadly technique, and then he loses that, and then all of a sudden it's got it back. It's okay. So yeah, I like that. That's cool. And make sure you check out my Etsy shop, links in the description, so you can purchase t-shirts and hoodies that I've designed. That would help support the channel greatly. And thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video I upload, link in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month for the support channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you guys for that. Thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know that you're watching, discuss some future videos. See you guys next time.